Slurpty diddly do, my G's. I hope you guys are doing well. I want to start off with a few shout outs today. I actually woke up really nice and fresh and early this morning, about 5:30, and it was still nice and cool outside. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to actually put on some clothes before I film a YouTube video, because it's something I haven't done for the past few days. And you know, I know that I'm a hot piece of crumpet already. So I'm not, making videos topless to show off, how great I am. It's really, really hot in this flat, and yeah, I have to be comfortable while I can record, otherwise it's just not enjoyable, So when I'm not like recording in summer, generally I'm sort of just, bowling around topless like in my flat because it's just hot. So I thought, I don't want to like have to get really hot and sticky just to make a video. So I hope you guys can appreciate that when I do occasionally do topless sound design. That I hope you can see past the image and just focus on the content. Let's do a couple of shout outs before I dive in. Counthouse Helmut, thank you for commenting, says great stream as always for the live stream I did last Friday. Something tasty to nibble on. Sounds like Hell's Kitchen in New York. Yeah, I've got the same project up here as well today. I just wanted to show off a little plugin that I really like. Darotum says Fedora on the headphones should be a norm for producers. Yeah, it looks great. It's just difficult to balance it on top of your headphones, especially when you've got the Audacies, because they're so big. Mike says Slurpty Derp Big G. I've got Spacer and the other Panzer, I think. I've tried Panzer recently. I'm not actually sure what it does yet. I can't really remember what it's actually supposed to be doing. I just loaded it on, but I didn't really get to grips with it yet. Great video as always, and very helpful with my new project, which is using many filter automations. Good automations you can never have enough of. Blips says great vid for yesterday's little video I did about my creative process, defeating writer's block, etc. It says, for me, it's walking my doggos most of the time. Anything that will let your brain relax will work. Let your subconscious work on the track for a while and then present some ideas to you. Yeah, I think having dogs and going for walks is great. I would definitely really enjoy that if I had dogs, but I don't. So I'm walking on my own, unfortunately. Stan all day says, yeah, I have noticed my creativity slumps while putting stuff down. Fade when I go for a chill outside for a few minutes. Smoke break. Naughty boy. Sometimes drafting the vibe I'm going for helps me come up with elements I want to incorporate or try. But having a reference always helps to think of instruments required for that style of track. Yeah, you can never underestimate the power of going through some similar tracks as a reference and paying attention, doing some critical listening and seeing if there are any elements that you can use in your own track as inspiration. Ryan Anderson says, I deliberately stop creating a track after about 2 hours and come back in a day or two. And I honestly come up with new sections I would not have thought of in the session before. That's very slow and steady, wins the race. But I like it because it's better than going the other way and losing your creativity and motivation. So it's better to take enough time that you need so you can keep going on a long-term basis. So that's what I always think as well, balancing out that creativity with your goal on a long-term time frame so you don't get frustrated can be super helpful. Anyway, without much more rambling, let's get into today's video, which is again a very quick little show off of a plugin which you may have already seen around on the internet somewhere or used before. I don't really know. I'm living in my own world. I occasionally do a bit of research and try and find some new free plugins. It's just a theme of the last week or two that I've just been hunting for some free stuff because it's 2024 and I have not looked for free plugins for like the whole year or something, and normally every year there's a few juicy ones that come out. So this one is the Kiss of Shame, which looks very... Wow, you can draw. I didn't even know that. Cool. It looks very interesting because there's a cross which becomes inverted. And I've been using it quite a lot because I like the way it sounds. and I've been using it the last 2 days, especially on more percussive things, drums, claps, and stuff like that. So here I've made I've just taken a break, and by running this plugin on it, I like the way it makes it squelchy. I'm not going to lie. It's got a squelchy flavour that is quite unique, that is quite useful actually as well, because it changes the timbre and things like really quite a lot, and gives it like some extra, almost like quick little pitch delay kind of effect, you know. With the hiss on, you'll quickly get like a load of noise in your track. So I think if you're going to use the hiss, then it's better to bounce it out, just in case it sort of hisses over the rest of your track where you don't have that sound. The tape mode here seems to make a slight difference to the sound, and there's some different settings which are like slightly changing the sound, like, and again, this mode here is very, very subtle. The age as well does not so much, maybe a little bit, but it's mostly just the big knob in the middle. That gives it that real unique effect, which I quite like, because what it enables you to do is take, like, for example, in this intro, I've got this break here, and it's the same break from the drop, and I'll just sort of bring it over and then put some effects on it and turn it down a bit. I actually first put some tape saturation on from the OCS, which is actually one of my favorites now. I just mixed it in here on I've realized the dry wet is actually up here. The general dry wet is up here. So make sure you do it there, because I was doing the dry wet here before, thinking that was for the whole plugin, but the actual main dry wet is up here. So I changed the break a bit there already first, and then I convoluted the break a little bit with a white blur 50 millisecond from the Kilohertz Convolver. To wash it out slightly, but still keep it tight. And you can use the spacer for the same job. I've stopped using the spacer now because to be honest, it crashes my Logic. Which is a shame, because that plugin was great. It worked well for the first day, and then the next day, every time I use it now, Logic force quits. So that's a problem because I have to actually finish the bloody song. You know, it's annoying when you can't actually, when your project keeps shutting down. That is many, many seconds added up in wasting time. And so the spacer was great because it had a convolution and it has like a grain delay. The grain delay actually on it I kind of miss a little bit already, but I've basically had to sacrifice that plugin. As a leader in the production industry of your own song, I don't mean me in the whole industry, I mean you're the leader of your song, you know. You have to make tough decisions sometimes. You have to make executive cuts, and even if you like some plugin, sometimes you gotta let it go, and that's probably happening with the spacer now. Sad day. It's a sad day. I've got to let the spacer go, but I've replaced it with the tape thing because that one works and doesn't crash my project, I think. Although I'm getting some weird things happening in Logic in the last few days since I've been using these, like suddenly the audio will just start clicking. It never really used to happen. We'll see what's going on here. But anyway, the Kiss of Shame then after that. It sort of takes out a little bit of high end, and then it gives you this whole squelchy new world into the sound. And I like that because it makes it different from the main break when the drop comes in. You know, so obviously it sort of degrades the quality a bit on purpose, you know. What I will say is it has got a very common sound that just will you'll kind of always get that sound effect every time you use it, you know. So whether you want that or not is up to you. But I've used that to color some like layers in my track that I felt were missing a bit of like variation, like some like clap layers and like little bits of percussion and things where you just want to like give it that processed feeling. Then it's been quite useful for me in the past couple of days, just slam that on just to change things up. So I do like it. Not sure if it's blasphemous. Probably is. It's probably been made by the enemy, this plugin. As you can see, you know, playing with the upside down cross, you know, it's not very, I mean, it's a bit, you know, sacrilegious, I suppose. However, you know, I believe in divine purpose. You know, everything can be used for a greater good in some way. So, you know, as long as you bear that in mind, that, you know, you're just making sounds better. You know, making music for good. You know, making music for good, not for evil. Then I think it's okay to use it. Just make sure that you're making music for the greater good. Okay. Yeah, so that's yeah, this was the track from the live stream recently. I might do another, well, I won't do another live stream on this because I've got another live stream coming up soon for the Patreon feedback collab competition, which is free for anyone, by the way. That's happening soon, the collab comp. You can always submit your tracks. I've already laid out the details for that. You have to submit your tracks by email a day or two before the competition. Yeah, you can go back to the previous video. I'll link it up above if you're still interested in the collab comp, because that's coming up soon. Anyway, yeah, sorry I'm rambling a lot. It's getting warm probably soon, so I'll probably have to get naked again. But thank you for watching. I hope that was a little bit helpful. That's just my take on the Kiss of Shame plugin, which does have some juicy sound effect in it that I quite like. So yes, thank you for watching, my G's. Have a great day. Chat to you guys tomorrow. Much love.